Hi, my name is Lyric, and today we are going to be ranking the top 30 point guards in the NBA. Now, by doing this, we are going to be ranking every starting point guard in the NBA. And I might be confused by some of these guys saying, oh, they're more of a shooting guard, but we're going to be going with who is presuming to be the starting point guard in the starting lineup for next season. So guys who come off the bench, like Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Paul, presumably, will not be on this list because we're just going one per team, ranking all the starting point guards in the NBA for next season. And I will also be doing this for every other position before the season starts, so subscribe to get notifications for that, and like it if you think this concept is a good idea, and comment below if you agree or disagree with these picks. So let's just begin. Starting off with number 30 with Kyle Lowry from the Miami Heat. It's kind of crazy to say that Kyle Lowry is the worst starting point guard in the NBA nowadays. He was not the Heat starting point guard last year, as it was Gabe Vincent, but recently he has left to be the backup point guard now for the Lakers. And now Kyle Lowry, at his old age, is now the starting point guard. Lowry is entering his 18th season in the NBA at age 37, as last year he averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game on 40% from the field, 35% from 3, and 86% from the line. While the Heat wasn't able to reach the NBA Finals, Lowry was probably the worst member of the starting lineup, if not the second to worst, so he is officially the worst starting point guard in the NBA last season, in my opinion. At number 29, I have Colin Sexton of the Utah Jazz. Last season, Conley was mostly their starting point guard until he got traded at the trade deadline, and now Sexton is presumed to be their main starting point guard. He had a lot of injury issues last season after missing most of the 22 season, only playing 48 games, as he averaged 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, but he did put up pretty good efficiency numbers as he put up 51% from the field, 39% from 3, and 82% from the line, but I do believe that he is on the back half of this starting point guard. At number 28, we have Trey Jones of the San Antonio Spurs. Jones was pretty underrated last season as he averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, and a very solid 7 assists per game on 46% shooting. Mostly he is underrated because he was literally on the worst team in the NBA, but now working with Wembanyama, he will have a lot better chances toward his playmaking, and hopefully will have a better season. At number 27, we have Mike Conley of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Conley spent the first half of last season on the Jazz before being traded to the Wolves, where he averaged 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists on the Wolves, after averaging 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists on the Jazz. He will be entering his 17th season in the NBA at age 36, so he was expected to have some regression, but he is still going to be a very solid role player and playmaker for the Wolves, despite being the worst member of their starting lineup. At number 26, we have Dennis Schroeder, now of the Toronto Raptors. With Fred VanVleet leaving to Houston, Schroeder is now the Raptors' starting point guard, as last season for the Lakers he averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, and a solid 5 assists per game on a below-average 42% shooting, but he was still a very impactful player for them and had some memorable moments. Probably the most mid-point guard in the league, not gonna lie to you. Which really proves why the point guard position is the most stacked in the NBA, considering I just made that joke when he is ranked 26 here. So he technically would be a very, very below average point guard in this ranking system. But because the point guard position is so stacked, he is only ranked 26. At number 25, we have Russell Westbrook of the LA Clippers. Definitely one of the most difficult players to rank. I mean, he used to be the MVP of the NBA, 4 seasons averaging a triple-double, 2 scoring titles, 2 assist titles, and yet here he is at number 25, though some people even had him lower in previous seasons. His first half of the season with the Lakers, he was having the worst season of his career, averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists per game on 42% from the field, 30% from 3, and 66% from the line. But after being traded to the Jazz and then bought out to the Clippers, he averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists, which wasn't too much higher numbers than he did with the Lakers, but the big part is that he shot 49% from the field, by far the best percentage of his entire career, along with 36% from 3 and still trash on the free throw line. But in the playoffs, after the injury to Kawhi and Paul George in the first round against the Suns, he averaged 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game on 41% from the field, 36% from 3, and 88% from the line, showing flashes of the old MVP Russ. The Clippers also have him on a really good contract this season. At number 24, I have Markelle Fultz of the Orlando Magic. Fultz has one of the most interesting stories in the NBA, being absolutely amazing in college, being compared to James Harden, going first overall, and through potentially an injury or accident or whatever happened to his jump shot, was seen as a bust on the Sixers. But since getting to the Orlando Magic, he is slowly going back to being himself and being better. He's now a pretty dang productive player in the league, as he averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on an efficient 51% from the field. At number 23, we have Tyus Jones, now of the Washington Wizards. Tyus Jones was a fantastic backup point guard to John Morant, and now in the starting position, he has a good chance to shine as the Wizards' probably third best player next year, averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists last year on 44% shooting. I feel like with a bigger role, his numbers are actually going to look really good next year than what many people expect. At number 22, we have Spencer Dinwiddie of the Brooklyn Nets. Dinwiddie spent the first half of the season on the Mavs and the second on the Nets, and while his numbers did go down with the Nets, they're still pretty dang good, as in last season in total, he averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists on 44% from the field, 37% from 3, and 81% from the line. At number 21, I have Fred VanVleet, now of the Houston Rockets. Definitely one of the most controversial spots on my list, as I view Fred VanVleet as a below-average starting point guard here, which is a take a lot of people disagree with. Last season, he averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists, but my main problem why I have him this low is that he shot 39% from the field and 34% from 3. He is one of the most inefficient volume shot chuckers in the NBA. He does have pretty good playmaking, which is why he lands as high in the first place. But if he does not get his shooting efficiency back to at least 43 to 44%, I really cannot put him any higher than this, in my opinion, on what he adds to the value of a team, despite how much money the Rockets are going to be paying him. At number 20, we have D'Angelo Russell of the LA Lakers. Now, while Russell did have an atrocious performance in the Western Conference Finals, I think that terrible performance is hindering people's perception of him, as last season he did average 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists on 47% from the field and 40% from 3, as well as 83% from the line, as the Lakers have 4 players that are close to being 20-point-per-game capable scorers, which is a very good sign for them. And Russell is getting underrated by Lakers fans, as you know, Lakers fans, as soon as anyone has a bad series or bad game, they just want him off the team. They're not going to yell at him for the entire time that they're on the team. At number 19, we have CJ McCollum of the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, while McCollum has been a shooting guard for most of his career, his stint with the Pelicans, he has been a point guard, as last season he averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 44% from the field and 39% from 3. The only real concerns I have for McCollum is his age, as he is going into his age 32 season. At number 18, we have Alex Caruso of the Chicago Bulls. Now, Caruso probably has the worst counting stats of any starting point guard in the league, as last season he averaged 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, but he is this high because he is one of the best, most impactful defenders in the entire NBA, and I think his defense is so valuable that I put him a bunch above a lot of the guys at the bottom that are either inefficient scorers or only good for certain playmaking positions, and, just not as valuable as I think Caruso is, what he brings to the defensive side of the court. At number 17, we have Derek White of the Boston Celtics. Last year, White was the starting shooting guard for the Celtics with Marcus Smart at point guard, but with the trade of Smart, White is now going to be playing the point guard position. I basically view Derek White as just a better version of Alex Caruso. His defense is still very elite, maybe not on quite the level of Caruso, but it's around the same level, while also being a much more great offensive player, as he averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists last year on 46% from the field, 38% from 3, and 88% from the line, adding a good rotational piece and a role player position for the Celtics offense while being one of their best defenders. Also hit that amazing game winner in the conference finals. At number 16, I have LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets. Before I even talk about him, I just want to talk about how LaMelo's middle name is LaFrance, which I just learned. LaMelo LaFrance Ball. Nasty. But anyway, LaMelo last season dealt with a lot of injury issues and was only able to play 36 games, though he did show a lot of promise in those 36 games, averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists per game on 41% from the field, which doesn't look like too good of efficiency, but what I really want to look at is his 3-point percentage, where he shot 38% from 3 on 11 3-point attempts per game, which is a lot of volume compared to the efficiency, which actually makes him a lot more of an efficient scorer than many people realize, while also being a great playmaker. Gives me a lot of promise for him for next season to potentially have another all-star run if he has better injury luck, and now with better teammates like Brandon Miller and potentially the best husband in the world, Miles Bridges, returning. At number 15, we have Bradley Beal of the Phoenix Suns. Beal, after spending his entire career playing the shooting guard position on the Washington Wizards, has now been traded to the Phoenix Suns, where he will be playing point guard alongside of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Last season, Beal averaged 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game on 51% from the field, 37% from 3, and 84% from the line, putting up some better efficiency but a lot less volume than some of his better scoring seasons. It's also really weird to think that by my logic in this ranking, Bradley Beal is the most mid starting point guard in the NBA. Bradley Beal is now the average starting point guard. That's insane. It just shows you how stacked the position is. At number 14, I have Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. Now, it might be controversial to put Cade Cunningham already this high after only playing 76 games in his NBA career, but I truly think he's going to have an amazing season. In his rookie season, he averaged 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists on 42% shooting, and this last season, he was only able to play 12 games due to injury, but in those 12 games, he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists on 42% shooting, and I think he's going to have a breakout season this year as the first option on the Pistons. At number 13, I have Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last season, Garland averaged 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists per game on 46% from the field, 41% from 3, and 86% from the line, putting up some amazing efficiency stats to put up with scoring and some good playmaking to pair along with Donovan Mitchell. At number 12, I have Jrue Holiday of the Milwaukee Bucks. Last season, Jrue arguably had the best season of his career, which is super weird for a guy in his 14th season, as he averaged 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game on 48% from the field, 38% from 3, and 86% from the line, putting up some great efficiency, playmaking, and being the best defending point guard in the NBA. Now, I would have him even higher if this was something that was not mentioned by a lot of people. Now, a lot of people call Jrue Holiday underrated, so much to the point that he's no longer underrated because everyone calls him underrated. And if everyone calls you underrated, you're not underrated anymore if everyone knows you're underrated. But what I have to talk about here is something that is not talked about a lot, and that is his playoff drop. Looking at the last 3 years, he has been an efficient scorer in the regular season, but his efficiency in the playoffs has gone down a cliff in the 3 years he's been with the Bucks. In 2021, even on the championship run, he only shot 41% from the field and 30% from 3. In 22, he shot just 38% from the field and 32% from 3. And this year, in the steps to success they had versus the Heat, he only shot 40% from the field and 29% from 3 after being a very efficient player the entire season. Jrue Holiday is a playoff choker, and this needs to be addressed when everyone keeps calling him underrated and how he's so good. Granted, he is really good, the best defender at his position, and probably a super underrated offensive player in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's just not that guy. At number 11, I have Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young is one of the most difficult players to rank in the NBA, as some people really overrate him and some people really underrate him, but I tend to lean on the side that I do not value him as nearly as much as a lot of other people do. Last season, Young averaged 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 10 assists per game on 43% from the field, 34% from 3, and 89% from the line. Now, apart from his free throw shooting, he is a not very efficient scorer from either the field or three-point percentage to me justify calling him one of the best scorers in the NBA. The main reason he places so high is because of his playmaking. He's one of the best playmakers in the entire NBA, and when he is hot on scoring, he is one of the most scary scoring playmaking combos in the NBA. But his efficiency, as well as him not being able to guard flight reacts if he was in the game, make him fall out of the top 10 point guards for me. At number 10, I have James Harden, currently of the Philadelphia 76ers. James Harden is another one of the hardest players to rank here. Last season, he averaged 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 11 assists per game on 44% from the field, 39% from 3, and 87% from the line, being a pretty efficient scorer, a great three-point shooter, while leading the league in assists. The main problem with Harden is one that's persisted throughout his entire career, in that he is a playoff choker, and because of his age, I don't feel this will ever get better, so I would choose a lot of players over him than what his numbers would originally convey, where you would rank him. Also, with the fact that we don't even know what team he's going to be playing for next season, if any. At number 9, I have Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. Brunson had his breakout season last year, averaging 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 49% from the field, 42% from 3, and 83% from the line, being a very, very efficient scorer and a good playmaker. He stepped up his game even more in the playoffs, averaging 28 a game in the playoffs, which is something that I really value. At number 8, I have De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. Last season, Fox had the best season of his career as he averaged 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 51% shooting while leading the Kings to their first playoff appearance in 17 years. Another thing I really value about Fox is how clutch he is. He led the league in many clutch time categories last season, which led him to winning the Clutch Player of the Year, the first ever time that award was given out, and I think it was well deserved. He also stepped up his game in the playoffs in his first ever playoff series of his career, averaging 27 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals on 42% shooting, while going up against Steph Curry. At number 7, I have Fox's former teammate, Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton is one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. Last year, he averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists per game on 49% from the field, 40% from 3, and 87% from the line. I don't think people really grasp just how good this guy is. He averaged over 20 points per game on nearly 50, 40, 90 percentages. And when I say nearly, I mean nearly. He was just 1 field goal percentage and 3 free throw percentage off, while also being one of the best passers in the NBA, being one of only 3 players to average double-digit assists. The only knock I have on him is that we have not seen him in the playoffs so far, so until then I can't put him any higher than this. At number 6, I have Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets. Murray just finished as the second best player on a championship team, something I highly value, as last season he averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 45% from the field, 40% from 3, and 83% from the line. What I value even more, though, is just how good his playoff performances were. In the first round against the Wolves, he averaged 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 47% from the field, 43% from 3, and 91% from the line. In the second round against the Suns, he averaged 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game on 45% from the field, 36% from 3, and 92% from the line. In the Western Conference Finals, he averaged 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game on 53% from the field, 41% from 3 and 95% from the line, and in the NBA Finals, he averaged 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists per game on 45% from the field, 39% from 3, and 93% from the line. He had an absolutely insane playoff run to the championship, and though it is normally overshadowed by Jokic's somehow even better playoff run, Murray's is nothing to scoff at, which is why I have him this high. At number 5, I have Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. A bit hard of a player to rank due to a lot of his off-the-court issues, but on the court, there's no denying that Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world, and in my opinion, a top 5 point guard. Last season, he averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists per game on 47% from the field, 31% from 3, and 75% from the line, being one of the best scorers in the NBA, as well as being a very underrated playmaker. But what I think most people don't appreciate enough about Ja Morant is how good of a playoff performer he is. He's only had 3 playoff runs in his entire career, and yet they've all been fantastic. In his first playoff run in 2021, he averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists per game on 49% shooting. In 2022, in 2 rounds of playoffs, he averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals per game on 44% from the field and 34% from 3, damn near averaging a triple-double, and throughout 2 whole rounds of playoffs, mind you. And in 2023, against the Lakers, despite going through some injuries, he had a fantastic series, averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals on 43% from the field and 42% from 3. At number 4, I have Damian Lillard, as of now, of the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard, despite being in his 11th season at age 33, just had arguably the best season of his career despite the terrible team success, as he averaged 32 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game on 46% from the field, 37% from 3, and 91% from the line. He's one of the best shooters in NBA history, one of the best scorers in the NBA when he gets hot, and has been a proven playoff performer. Now we get into the big guns with our top 3 with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the OKC Thunder. Shai just had one of the most mind-blowing breakout seasons of all time, as he averaged 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game on 51% from the field, 35% from 3, and 91% from the line, being an absolutely insanely efficient volume scorer while being the main guy on a team that didn't have that much talent really shows you how good of a scorer he is and all his potential that he has. Once again, my only gripe about him is that we have not seen him at this level in the playoffs. Number 2, Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. Luka just had the best season of his career as he averaged 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists on 50% from the field, 34% from 3, and 74% from the line. He's one of the best scorers in the NBA and one of the best playmakers in the NBA, being completely unstoppable on offense. There's only major 2 really criticisms of Luka. One, that his team did not make the play-in tournament this year, which is a big criticism. But though, to be fair, he is a proven playoff performer, and his defense does leave some to be desired, but just ranking point guards here, that is an issue for most people on this list. I would not be surprised at all if Luka went on to win MVP next year. And number 1, Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is arguably the greatest point guard of all time, and is arguably still in his prime. Last season, despite some injury issues playing 56 games, he still played like MVP Curry, averaging 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 49% from the field, 43% from 3, and 92% from the line, being just 1% field goal percentage away from averaging 50-40-90 on 29 points per game. He is the greatest shooter in NBA history. He completely transformed your offense with his gravity, while also being amazing playmaking, and he transforms everything with your offense with his off-ball movement and how much the defense has to pay attention to him because he has the most valuable shot in basketball. A Steph Curry three-pointer is arguably the best shot you can take that's not an uncontested layup. So, what did you think of my list? Do you agree or disagree with my picks? Leave below your agreements and your disagreements, and potentially, if you want to, make your own ranking in the comments. I'll be doing this for all the other positions for next season, so subscribe to get notifications for that. Like this video if you liked it, and yeah, bye.